Hey, it's PVSB with the CPG guys. You know, we talk a lot about this on the show. For CPG marketers today, it's not just about reaching consumers. It's about connecting with them meaningfully at every touch point. Here's the reality. Shopping isn't just an event anymore. It's woven into daily life. And with consumers spending over 90 minutes streaming content daily, entertainment has become central to the shopping journey. Amazon Ads unifies commerce, entertainment, and open internet to reach 86% of U.S. households, turning trillions of consumer signals into powerful results, both on and beyond Amazon. So visit advertising.amazon.com to learn more.
Hello, my name is Wayne Purboo, Vice President, Amazon Ads, Shoppable Videos, and you're listening to the podcast from the CPG Guys.
Hello and welcome to the CPG Guys podcast, set at the intersection of commerce and tech. Your hosts, Sri Rajagopalan and Peter V.S. Bond, explore how brands and retailers engage consumers in a digitally driven world. And now, here are the CPG Guys. Hello and welcome to the CPG Guys podcast, set at the intersection of commerce and tech. I am your co-host, PVSB, and when I'm not co-hosting this podcast, I moonlight as the head of customer and industry engagement at Flywheel, the commerce acceleration division of Omnicom. And as always, I'm joined by my co-host. He is the CRO of Think Blue Consulting. He is the patriarch of the Raj family media empire, including his daughters, Ria and Laura, his podcasting wife, Kavita, 3 cats and his dog. Of course, I'm talking about my BFF, the man known as Sri. Sri, how you doing? What's going on?
I'm doing awesome, man. As you know, Peter, kids on tour. At the time this episode gets released, Laura would already be on tour in 2 cities, Minneapolis as well as New York City. Can't wait. Excited. But you know what else I'm excited for? That we're here live actually at unBoxed at Amazon down in Nashville, Tennessee. So take it away, Peter. Who's our guest?
Yeah, Sri, before we get to that, I'll just say to our audience, please do follow us on your preferred podcast platform. If you're on Apple or Spotify, make sure you actually follow us because that makes our podcast more findable by industry contemporaries who are looking to be educated and entertained. Yeah, Sri, we were very fortunate for this interview that we're about to share with everybody. We got to speak with Wayne Purboo, who's the Vice President of Video Advertising for Amazon Ads. He's based out of Toronto. I know he's a friend of yours. You've known him for a couple of years. I think I met him last year at Cannes Lions. But it's a wide-ranging conversation, a very personal one. Yeah, sure, we traded a couple of barbs over the Yankees and the Dodgers, but I think everyone who listens to this is really going to enjoy the conversation. So without further ado, let's get to our conversation with Wayne down in Nashville, Tennessee. Wayne, welcome to the CPG Guys. How you doing today?
Good. Thank you for having me.
We are so excited to be here at unBoxed 2025 in Nashville. We appreciate you taking time out of the event to sit down with us and talk about what's going on and everything that's been changing. It's been a phenomenal week, and we're excited to get to some questions we have for you. Sound good?
It sounds great. I'm excited for the podcast.
All right. So I'll kick it off. Wayne, you've been in media tech and now advertising at Amazon. Can you walk us through your journey, your professional career, and how you landed in the CPG advertising intersection, along with what does your current role at Amazon Advertising look like? What are the core responsibilities and the strategic levers you focus on driving the business?
All right. How much time we have?
You got plenty as much as you want.
Well, I'm. It's crazy to think, but I'm 30 years plus now in sort of tech and media, started very early. I'm mostly a startup guy. My whole career has been mainly startups. Unfortunately, been a part of 3 significant exits, and came to Amazon to help with a problem around making videos more shoppable, and how do we make shopping on Amazon more entertaining, help customers make better purchase decisions. Videos are great for helping customers make great purchase decision, because you can buy a glass and you know how big that glass is because you can see a creator holding that glass. Just simple things like that. We talk a lot about swirl videos where a creator is walking and just does a quick twirl to show how a dress will flow. And our shoppers really want to see that side of it. It's not enough to look at an image or read text. You can't get a feel for the product. And what we are seeing is that as customers more and more on Amazon include video in their shopping journey, they're making great purchase decisions and they're happier. And so that's kind of the my domain in terms of what I'm trying to do. That manifests itself in a couple of different strategies. One is to globally include video on our product detail pages, search pages, Rufus, everywhere that customers' journey touches. We want to make sure that there is a video for them to consume. And so that is probably half of my remit, is just managing both the ingress of video, so from selling partners, creators, a lot of customer review videos, which we're very excited about, and managing the ingress of those videos and the placement of those videos across Amazon. We are trying to look for more and more opportunities, more intersections with customer journeys that we can make better by adding a video.
It's amazing as you talk about that. When I think about the impact of user-generated content, the user videos, that for all the work that brands can put onto a PDP, the image carousel, how the influence of people that you've never met will drive you to try a product because you actually see them using it in real life. What a powerful way to help convert.
Yeah, the creators, it's a real movement, and it's really about authenticity. They feel that creators give them an authentic point of view of a product. And sometimes if they're borderline, a creator video can push them over and get them to the point where they can make a purchase, especially if it's a creator that they follow. They may follow that creator on social, and now they see that creator again on Amazon, and they just feel good about what the creator's done for them in the past. So being able to sort of fortify those decisions with creator content is really, really important. We see that manifest itself and amplify on our Amazon Live product, our live shopping product. We're really encouraged with both results for consumers, but also the results for brands. Amazon Live in the last 18 months has gone from purely a direct-to-consumer product to now both direct-to-consumer and a business-to-business product. And we've seen an explosion of brands that want to use a live creative format with creators to be able to tell their brand story, differentiate their offering. And again, this is using video to help customers make better purchase decisions. The live format just gives you a deeper, more conversational creative that you can tell that brand story.
First of all, welcome to the CPG guys. I waited 3 years to get you on the podcast. We've known each other a while now, but I was on the dark side, the CPG side.
Yeah,
I had to leave corporate America and be independent to get you on the show.
Only way to pay attention to you. Only way to pay attention to you.
Peter made me drive down 45 miles in traffic to get country biscuits and butter. So this is the highlight of my day. Did you try some country biscuits?
You know what? I didn't, but Peter is making me want to drive down after this podcast.
Loveless
Cafe. That's where you want to go.
Jams and jellies.
On the way to the airport, I got
a little beyond the airport.
But I want to jump into your entrepreneurial background that we kind of just discussed a little bit over here. Also, video and telecom background. You also co-founded QuickPlay Media.
That's right.
So pretty solid entrepreneurial background. You work with nimbleness, fast, speed, agility. Now you're working and will be working with some of the largest CPG brands in the world. Not exactly the most nimble, and I've spent 30 years in those myself, right? But as you launch, release products, those perspectives from being fast and nimble and being at entrepreneurial backgrounds, How's it helping you in a large ecosystem like Amazon?
I still see a lot of blue ocean at Amazon. It's a big company, but I do see a lot of blue ocean, a lot of opportunities, and from myself, who's been doing startups for so long, it's just I love it. I really love coming to Amazon and working on problems and finding opportunities. There's multiple opportunities at Amazon, and it's interesting because I've had to think about some of the skills I picked up building companies and try to apply them to Amazon and apply them to Amazon's customers. And so I'll give you a great example. One of the things that you deal with as a startup, and they don't do a great job in business school teaching about, is scarcity.
Well said.
It's so funny. I judge so many MBA programs today, and I'm always shocked when I see business cases that don't talk about the really hard trade-offs that you have to make as a startup, because you never have enough resources, whether it's people or money or customers, whatever it is, you never have enough.
You just gave me an idea, actually. Peter and I host a retail media program at Cornell every year in the summer. This year for a case study, Peter, when we give people a budget of a case study, midway through, we're going to pull half the budget and say, oops.
But that never happens in the real world, does it, Sharif?
Every single day. Every quarter close.
It happens. It's really interesting because I always, when I'm judging those MBA case studies, I'm always like, what happens if you only get half your money?
Yeah.
And they're just not, they're like, what do you mean? You know what I mean? Like the MBA students, like, what do you mean only get half the money? I go, well, you're not going to be able to raise the capital that this business gets.
Because they never got half the bucket money. They got the full bucket.
They get it all the time. And so they build these pretty business cases that are not realistic. So, I came to Amazon and, the idea of scarcity, even at Amazon, still exists. We have to make difficult trade-offs. And I think that the muscle that I have about understanding what is important and need and urgent that needs to be done now. There's a lot of things that are important, but not everything is urgent. That skill I've applied for the video product at Amazon. And it's interesting because they sought me out specifically because of my entrepreneurial background. They felt that it would take an entrepreneur and someone who understood going from 0 to 1. I'm not talking about incrementally building something, but really starting from nothing and building something. That's kind of what they tapped into, and so our program, we see a lot of opportunities. It's growing very, very fast. It's one of the fastest growing businesses at Amazon, and there is a lot of excitement around what we're doing. But for me, it's just another startup. It's just I don't have to raise capital. You know what I mean? I still argue for capital, but it's
the ROI will matter.
Yeah,
you're not sending out term sheets. That's what
no, I'm not sending out term sheets. Sometimes I think I am. I mean, I have to defend our business,
of course, constantly
defend our business. Yeah. But there is a belief in our business, and there is, it's not. I've raised hundreds of millions of dollars in my startups, and having 40 or 50 conversations, where you have to begin with, okay, let me tell you the beginning. For Quick Play is an interesting one because Quick Play was started before the iPhone. We started Quick Play in 2004 when BlackBerry was super dominant. I'm Canadian, by the way, so
you're looking at another one.
Yeah.
And didn't support the Blue Jays. Shame on him.
No, Peter, you and I are
make him up in a shirt and show his
No. Let's not get into this. Podcast might be over.
Yeah,
I'm Yankee, so it doesn't matter. We have 27 championships.
Yes, I know. When we started Quick Play in 2004, the BlackBerry was really dominant, and we started showing premium content on a BlackBerry
in 2004.
In 2004, wow. And
video content.
Video, and I remember meeting with the executives at BlackBerry. We went down to Waterloo and met with them, and they said to me, "Wayne, this isn't going to work. This is not. There's no way people are going to watch premium content on a mobile device." And
I call it being ahead of its time. Well, foresight.
Yeah, I've gotten thick skin doing all these startups, and I always tell, like, I coach a bunch of startups right now, and I always talk to them about the ugly baby discussion. It's your baby, but everybody's going to tell you how ugly it is, and you got to get used to that. So that was just another ugly baby discussion. We, Quick Play went on, and we got acquired by AT&T in 2016, and we raised $100 and some odd million, and it became much more obvious by 2010. The iPhone launched in 2006, and it just, everybody's like, yeah, of course I'm going to watch content on my mobile device. Yeah. So, of course. Anyway, but it's
way
just,
to consume content.
Yeah. And, certainly, internally, I still have, I have different projects other than Amazon Live, and that I get different things going on. We still have those ugly baby discussions.
Well, with radio faces like ours, we have them.
I got the follow-up question of the day. Has anyone told you that CPG guys are an ugly baby? I'm just kidding.
I think you get used to it, and I think that what I learned is that even if folks agree with you, they'll tell you your baby's ugly to get your valuation down so that they can invest.
That's what they're trying to do, right?
That's exactly it. And I try to coach. Yeah. And so you got to get used to that ugly baby discussion. And like, even at Amazon, I've had ideas and they've been shot down. And I have that ugly baby discussion. And, you got to get thick skin in order to do
It's amazing how much more beautiful a baby looks after the term sheet is
signed. Oh, yeah.
That is like,
everybody, we love this, and we love you, and everybody's rosy. They're going to college. Your baby's going to do great.
So, Wayne, many people in the CPG space think of Amazon purely as a retail marketplace or channel. But there's a whole lot to the actual advertising and media angle, particularly in an age where linear television, print media are on decline, and the opportunity to reach audiences at scale are a big challenge. How do you advise brands to better harness the media plus commerce capability of Amazon, especially with video?
Customers are inspired by media, right? Like, we've known this, since the soaps, like in the 50s and 60s. We've known that customers get inspired by media and video. And all we're really discussing is, how does that manifest itself in the Amazon marketplace? Because it's not a new muscle for the customer, right? Customers are doing it. They continue to do it. They do it off Amazon. They do it on Amazon. And so brands need to understand that we are going to continue to give them more and more opportunities to inspire customers through video on Amazon.
So when I jump into that video world, so the advertisers, I think, customers is one piece. They obviously love video. Congratulations on all the success on video. But when I wear the hat of a CPG brand or of an agency that does the advertising on behalf of the CPG brand, video hasn't been the highest priority. So they're clearly making mistakes. In your eyes, since you literally come from the space, you have a history of being an entrepreneur in the space, what are some common mistakes brands and agencies, aka advertisers, are making in the video space that you've seen?
A lot of times, the videos that brands create do not answer a customer problem. So if you think about, if you walk backwards from the customer and you start to think about, why would a customer watch this video? They don't, oftentimes it's just a list of features. It doesn't talk to the customer problem that you're solving. And the best videos that we have that customers really love, it directly addresses a problem. A lot of the work we're doing with Rufus now, we've been experimenting with using, I have studios in New York, and we create content. We create videos for both our internal purposes as well as brands. And a lot of what we're doing is looking at the questions that customers are asking Rufus, and where we don't have a video, producing videos to address those questions. And so I would encourage brands, regardless of what their product is, to understand what is it that customers are asking about that product, and developing videos to directly answer those problems.
That's awesome. So the first thought that comes to my mind is awesome that you can use Rufus, because search and search history has got to be an amazing input to get the videos right. But is it different by category? I think of taps and faucets as an example. It's really features. But then I think of skincare and beauty. Everything from unboxing, the regimen, usage, outcomes, all of those are going to matter. Those are all completely different videos. Yes. Then in food, ingredients, GLP-1. This is one of some people's now. So is it different by category?
It's very different. It's different by ASIN. I think
by ASIN.
Yeah. I think every product needs to have 3 or 4 videos, not just generalized product videos, which I think is what we get a lot of, which is, they basically just taken their feature sheet and created a video. It's almost as if they just fed it to Sora or something like that. But I think you got to go beyond that and ask yourselves, what are the most important questions that customers ask? If it's a mobile phone, battery life.
Very important one.
Very, very important one. Create a video that explains the battery life. That's what I mean by being very intentional.
That's about your moment. I don't think I can still find videos that talk about battery life.
And a lot of what's interesting about it, if you think about some of the producers of mobile devices, one of the things they concentrate on, they spend countless amount of engineering on, is battery life, and the reason they work on it so much is because they know it's important to their customers. For some reason, that isn't translating into the product videos that they create. And so a lot of what I've been coaching brands is to be very, very intentional. The other reason that we want brands to be intentional about it is because then we have more videos for Rufus, right? Because Rufus doesn't get the question, the generalized features of a mobile device. It doesn't get that. It gets much more detailed requests. And so we need much more detailed videos that walk backwards from a customer problem.
So then thinking about the components of success for CPG brands, are there metrics beyond typical lower funnel ROAS, high ROAS, new brand, that brands should be paying more attention to, especially within video? Like, what are the metrics that you recommend they focus on to help them define success?
Yeah, there's a number of high-value actions that customers can take, both during the video, being, liking the video, things like that. They can watch the full length of the video. So duration, did they watch the first 5 seconds? Did they watch the entire video? Those are all great indicators. And then there's a bunch of post-consumption HVAs. Do they go to the brand store? Do they do a search for that brand? There's a whole bunch of new to brand metrics as well. And so there is, video is really full funnel. A lot of consideration issues. It's because of, the content they're reading about a product has not yet satisfied all the questions they have. And that's why building more intentional video can help them through that consideration phase.
What about brands? Are they asking you, do you feel they're asking you the right questions about metrics? Do they get the plot? Are they interested in full funnel measurement? Is it more upper funnel? Because traditionally, video is thought of as upper funnel, especially in the largest brands in the world.
Yeah. And I think it's really interesting because it's not just, video has been upper funnel. Amazon, we've been great at lower funnel. Like we own lower funnel, and conversion. And so there is a bit of a bridge that we are attempting to build with video between upper funnel and lower funnel. We'll always deliver all those lower funnel metrics that people expect. It's always interesting when I talk to a brand and we start to show some of the upper funnel metrics that are more brand building, that they get excited about as well. Now there's always a structural issue, as you guys know coming, because brand building is typically not part of the same budget as conversion or sales, right? And so there's a structural challenge in sort of preaching video to some of the brands that are on Amazon to tap into both budgets for some of these executions.
The one thing I'll tell you, Peter, the budget divide, it's all media at the end of the day. Yeah. You and I have strong opinions on this, we've expressed on the show and negative about that. So the fact that it comes from lower funnel trade literally makes no sense. Right? And I think a long time ago, it's already been declared by FASB, the Financial Accounting Board of New York, working with Pricewaterhouse, 2016. That 87% of all advertising that's lower funnel really belongs, precise numbers, 87%, belongs in the upper funnel and in media. But how would I know? Because I worked with them as well, Johnson & Johnson, to get that classification. It drives us crazy on the CPG guys for us to hear that unnecessary divide, but that's what politics is about. We'll avoid it. We'll move on. So I want to go to different video, different formats of video, right? There's the everyday video product that we just talked about, brand equity building. But there's other forms of video like streaming, influencer, social. You touch all of those.
Yeah.
Now, are brands really taking advantage and leveraging all of those types of video formats with you on Amazon to fully bring out their story?
Yeah, some brands are, and I'm excited to see it.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, there's some brands that really, especially those that have a great brand, they've got a story to tell, right? And it's much more than a product detail sheet. You know what I mean? It's not just a list of features. There's a story. I still recall years ago.
I mean, product dimensions aren't good.
No.
Which is by 27.
No. I still recall there's a video. It's a long video. It's about 10 minutes long that Tastemade did, and it's a beautiful video. And I started watching it just because it's a large family. They're sitting in Italy, and it's just gorgeous. They're having an unbelievable meal, like a meal that we would all love to participate in. And they sit down to have this great meal, and you don't know what this is. It's just a family having a meal. Okay. And it goes on, and there's like beautiful music in the background, beautiful sunshine, trees. You can imagine how beautiful this video is. And like at the very end, it just says San Pellegrino.
About that.
That was about the experience.
It was just about the experience. There's no words. There's nothing. It's just this wonderful family laughing and eating, and just a beautiful scene that we'd all want to participate in. And at the end, then you remember, there's San Pellegrino all over.
Well, that's great, though, because you have sunshine. It's a beautiful scene. It's pretty. It's warm.
Brand is woven into the family experience.
And the big thing that brands have to remember, which video does that other creatives don't, video creates emotions.
Yeah.
And emotions last longer than product detail pages.
Could not agree more.
And so when we talk to them about video, we're talking about much longer attribution windows.
But do you get these discussions from CMOs, or do you have to initiate them?
CMOs, I do. They understand this. But sometimes...
Understand is one thing, but asking you is another
right.
thing.
The execution is always... Yeah. And it's hard, I understand, and we're working with our data teams to figure out how do we create connective tissue between some of these longer-term brand building, high-value actions that customers take, and the current moment. And being able to do that is one of the challenges that we're working on.
Which reminds me, do you have a feedback mechanism from customers then? I don't mean brands, customers on video and videos that are put out where they give you feedback on the quality of what they like, which is influencing how you think about it.
We use so right now we use a lot of implicit signals from the customer to understand whether there's some explicit ones, like they can like it. We're going to give, one of the mental models that I've given my team to think about is how do we remove the glass, between the customer and the experience so that the customer feels like they're part of that experience. They can give feedback, we can give them feedback, and more of a two-way conversation about the video. And through that, we're able to get, explicit and implicit signals. I mentioned a couple before, like, are they watching it all the way to the end? Did they make a purchase after that within some reasonable attribution window? And we've seen that like 6 months later, when a customer has that problem, we've seen them go back and make a purchase.
So 6 months later.
Amazing. Wayne, for CPG brands, how should they be thinking about moving from particularly video as more upper funnel to really thinking about it as a full funnel approach. As I said, that is really where the puck is going. As a Canadian reference, he doesn't understand hockey.
I watch curling though. The World Championship of curling.
I watch.
Which they don't have on pay-per-view, so it's tough.
What's the sweet spot for brands to stay, as you see it, for them to really start understanding the true full funnel value that advertising on Amazon, particularly in your focus area, delivers?
Yeah, I sort of, if we think about a fragmented customer journey where a customer is bouncing around, right? They're on Amazon, they're on social. Not even on Amazon. Sometimes they'll be watching a live stream, they'll be going to a product detail page, they'll communicate with Rufus. I think brands need to understand this journey and be able to reinforce that storytelling all over the place, with some consistency.
Storytelling is the real key to success.
Yeah, because you need to, there's so many products in every category. You need to get customers to understand why you made the investments you did. What is it that makes your product the one they're going to be loyal to? And that's what storytelling helps brands to do. And regardless, I've talked to some CPG guys and they go, yeah, but if it's
not these CPG guys.
No.
Those CPG guys.
Yes.
Other just generic CPG guys.
They
You know them?
Never heard of them.
they in some cases they look at it, their products, and I think consumers look at their products almost like commodities, right? Undifferentiated.
Yeah.
And I think this really gives them an opportunity to differentiate. Like it's so incredible to me the amount of money that goes into research and development of some of these products, and we're not sharing that with the customer.
They're pretty basic information.
Sir.
Yeah. And I want to give them the opportunity to tell that story.
It's not that hard, actually, at the end of the day, which is what I want to jump into next, right? So now you're an advertiser walking in. It's your first time doing a campaign on Amazon. Would you advise them to include video in the marketing mix?
Absolutely.
And then, if the answer is yes, as you just said, what are some things you've done you absolutely have to nail so that you get the best ROI for doing the campaign?
The videos have to be intentional. You got to think about.
Tell us more. Intentional.
Yeah, the videos have to address the main road, speed bumps for a customer.
What are their burning pain points?
Exactly. In business school we talk about pains and gains, right?
Yes.
What are the pains and gains? And be very intentional with your videos. Address them in the videos so that customers get what they need and they can make a really good purchase decision.
Again, based on category, that's going to be very different. So you analyze it when an advertiser comes in. You look at it and then you say, hey, it's this versus that. Do these 3 things for this category, but do these 7 things or do nothing for somebody else.
Yeah, and like I said, it's going to be different. It's going to be different in terms of the product, right? There's different questions that you need to answer for a camera. And even within the camera category, it depends on which camera you're buying, right? You could be buying, a $300 camera, very different questions than if you're buying a $3,000 camera. And so I think I would absolutely add video. Customers prefer, watching a video over reading a lot of text, and you can convey so much more information about a product, and be very authentic. Involve creators. That's where you cross the line between just being educational to also being entertaining.
So I was replacing my podcast microphone in my home studio last week.
Yeah.
And so to do that, I researched what I needed like crazy and probably looked at over 100 ASINs before choosing. Not a single one of them had a product use video there. Plenty of sound.
Yeah.
Sound quality. Not good enough because I want to see how far someone's staying from the microphone when they actually speak. How high does it go? How low does it go? I don't want that.
What's the right
I want
positioning?
to see
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
For professional podcasters like us, those things matter.
Wait, we're
And an
professional.
overhang. not you and me, the CPG guys.
Okay.
Yeah. It's so interesting because one of the added features of doing this with video is this whole concept of complementary products. where you can show, because we barely use any product on its own. You know, there's very few products that we just
I'll
use.
give you a follow-up example to what you just said, right? We know being in this business, you have to use pop filters.
Yeah.
Not one of them said I had to use a pop filter.
Yeah.
This is bizarre, it drove me crazy.
Yeah, and that's where creators come in, right? Creators will come and say, hey, I love this mic, but you need these pop filters. You need, like, here's some complimentary things that go really well. That is,
They give you the real.
exactly, and that addresses the customer problem, right? That is much more intentional, much more, much more educational, valuable to a customer to understand. I need this product, but I need these complementary products as well.
Yeah, totally get it. When even on the pop filter, I got plenty of info on pop filters, but I couldn't see a single video of it in front of a microphone that showed me what's the depth.
Yeah.
How does it look? Is it too big? Does it cover my face?
So Sri asked you about, brands starting out. Should they be looking at video? At the other end of the spectrum, the brands that are very well developed and leveraging Amazon ads. My question is this: are there particular advanced tactics or experiments that you're seeing the most exciting results from, and brands are really starting to lean in and make them an even bigger part of their overall investment strategy?
The biggest thing that I'm seeing that I'm excited about is brands are making it fun. They're not really taking themselves too seriously. And, I think I'm really excited by brands starting to understand that this is a creative format. And customers lean in when they're being entertained and it's educational, and they feel like, hey, this is a good use of my time. And so I'm excited about, how different brands are using the creative format to create experiences on Amazon that are a lot of fun.
But I want to come back to best practice or frameworks or advertising tools in the ecosystem that already exist that brands should know about. They should be asking you guys when it comes to video streaming that they overlook as they go through the creative process and measurement.
Yeah, I think, for brands who are on a lower budget and are concerned about building some of these videos, they should use our creative studio. And today the Jay Richmond, my peer, he did a great job of talking about creative studio and all the capabilities that we're building in there to really democratize video creation for brands. So at that end, we should, folks should look to use creative studios to start to build a library of videos, especially to do what I'm asking, which is to be more intentional. This is a real low-cost way for them to create those videos, and we know those videos work. So that would be, one thing for those
It's great to hear.
who don't have big budgets. And,
if you're a smaller brand with a $10 million in mid-tier, this is a good way.
Yeah, a lot of those brands, they have product images and stuff like that, and they may even take 360 images. But making it a video is so much more compelling for the customer. So being able to use those tools to do that, I think, is a really great advance for that particular cohort of selling partners of brands. And then at the high end, it's really about continuing and really, I always talk to them about you need to leak your R&D out into your videos.
Right? You're making me think on that one, right? Because historically, CPG has never thought of it that way. Your biggest advertiser is CPG. But then customers are hungry to learn about the R&D.
Yeah, and it's interesting because we're all customers, and we know if we want more, like even if the brand won't tell us, we'll
find a way.
We'll find a way. We'll go on Reddit, right?
Exactly.
We're using AI tools like ChatGPT and Perplexity. We're doing it anyway, and brands need to control that narrative, so I'm.
Also, one platform where they shop, it should be able. They shouldn't have to go.
Right? They shouldn't have to. And so that's why we're trying to improve the user experience. We're trying to intersect them and make the right video available at the right point in the journey.
So I have the pleasure of the last question, and we'll do looking out towards the future kind of a focus. If we were to go out 3 to 5 years, what do you think will be the biggest disruptors that video delivers, both that CPG advertising, but even non-endemic advertising? What do you think video is going to be able to deliver to the consumer for their shopping experiences?
You're talking about non-AI.
Wow.
It's easy to sort of fall back and say it's all going to be AI.
AI.
But I think it matters, though. I mean, AI is the moment of our time, so we don't want to shy away from it.
No, and I think it's going to be pervasive. And so, I think that, and I've spoken about this, I think that there's going to be different modes of shopping. There's still going to be a pretty robust walk-in retail, walk in the shopping mall and buy something. I still do that myself. Mm-hmm. You're still going to have folks who will, use the internet, Pinterest or Reddit, and then come over to Amazon and execute and make a purchase. You're going to have these hybrid experiences where AI is part of, either they're interacting with Rufus or some other AI engine to help them to make that purchase decision. And then I think there's sort of an agentic where it's just agents talking to each other to make purchases on your behalf. And there's a great article at Andreessen Horowitz where they break down the different categories of purchases, and they talk about which ones they believe will go to AI. First, I don't know if I agree with the whole thing. I'm not saying I agree, but at least it's a mental model for thinking about.
So also think about
how it could work. And so I think that the forward leaning is this agentic, and how do brands participate? How do they ensure that the agents understand their best, they put their best foot forward in this agentic environment? That's TBD. That hasn't been sorted. And I think within the next 5 years, it has to be sorted. Or else there are going to be a lot of unhappy customers and unhappy buyers.
Sri and I greatly appreciate taking time out of unBoxed to sit down with us, and we hope you'll come back and speak with us soon.
Yeah, this has been great. Thank you for letting me share my ideas.
You wear a Dodgers shirt.
Yeah, the Dodgers thing.
Well, I have covered up underneath my.
I told them you're Canadian, you used to cover it up.
Okay. All right. Well, I listen. It's one of those things. It was a great series, and Dodgers did well. Blue Jays didn't execute, so it's fine. I'm good with it.
It was a fantastic series.
One out away. Yeah. But the Yankees will step back. We'll watch y'all get to double digits. We'll watch the Dodgers. We wish the Blue Jays the best too.
Yeah. Thank you, Wayne. Thank you.
Thank you, Wayne. This was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Wow, Sri, that was a great interview. What did you think? What's your big takeaway from the conversation we just had with Wayne?
Well, Peter, some great announcements were made yesterday. Wayne gave us an excellent conversation about how streaming TV, Amazon streaming TV Prime Video, with the capabilities now in advertising, you can actually use AI to optimize not just your spend and the campaign, the keyword searches, but more importantly, the creative too, which means your campaign time can be significantly reduced. For me, the inflection of AI and not having to really know SQL code inside out, yet choosing to use SQL code if you want great measurement, win, win, win. What do you think?
Sri, for me, it was Wayne was very vocal about advocating for the fact that video, with all of the new capabilities, particularly like with sponsored search videos and upper funnel awareness, it is truly a full funnel solution, and it's available to brands big and small, as you mentioned with the AI capabilities. You have to make it a part of your go-to-market strategy. It fits into every campaign. I think that was my big takeaway. Sri, as always, thank you for joining me on this journey. Loved our time down at Amazon unBoxed this year. Saw so many friends. Hope you checked out our Instagram page. Lots of pictures posted there, also on LinkedIn, but make sure you're following us on Instagram, TikTok. If you're still on Facebook, absolutely check us out there. And we look forward to speaking with you on the next episode of the CPG Guys podcast. Goodbye. content in this podcast episode is provided for general informational purposes only. By listening to our episode, you understand that no information contained in this episode should be construed as advice from CPG Guys LLC or the individual author, hosts, or guests, nor is it intended to be a substitute for research on any subject matter. Reference to any specific product or entity does not constitute an endorsement or recommendation by CPG Guys LLC. The views expressed by guests are their own, and their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent. The views expressed by CPG Guys LLC do not represent the views of their employers or the entity they represent. CPG Guys LLC expressly disclaims any and all liability or responsibility for any direct, indirect, incidental, special, consequential, or other damages arising out of any individual's use of, reference to, or inability to use this podcast or the information we present in this podcast.